She had no clue about the storm she was walking into. Just watch what happens next.
My colleagues say that opening more of our federal lands to fossil fuel development is what their constituents want and need. I'm not here to dispute that point in this moment.
Matt Rosenale swiftly called out Cortez for her behavior when she tried to introduce a heated amendment during a House hearing, a move that many felt revealed the showmanship behind her stance. Rather than driving real progress, his sharp response highlighted the political strategies often used to push personal agendas. Their exchange quickly caught the attention of both lawmakers and the public, sparking a wider discussion about honesty and openness in the lawmaking process.
Now, if we allow forest management practices that would prevent millions of acres from burning each year, absolutely ruining air, land, and water quality.
What if we approved smarter forest management methods that could prevent millions of acres from going up in flames each year, saving our air, water, and land from devastation? That's exactly why we're bringing every perspective to the table today. We must focus on real, practical solutions instead of blindly taking sides in politics. Our main goals remain clear: sustainability, responsibility, and prevention. At the heart of it all, we stand for balanced policies that protect both people and the planet.
First, I want to acknowledge that after a long history of various individuals in the body denying the existence of climate change, I do want to say that it's very encouraging to see that there is some acknowledgement of the climate crisis here in the report. So I'm proposing an amendment that would require the collection of public health data and other impacts of new drilling on federal land.
To begin with, there's no denying the truth of climate change. It's a well-established fact. What's truly troubling, however, is how extreme some government responses have become. Back in February 2023, during a Committee on Natural Resources meeting reviewing the Biden administration's authorization and oversight plan, a sharp exchange unfolded that strongly criticized the administration's environmental stance. The conversation exposed deep divisions over the best ways to tackle climate challenges while weighing their impact on communities and the economy. It also revealed the growing struggle between taking swift action and crafting thoughtful, balanced policies.
My colleagues say that opening more of our federal lands to fossil fuel development is what their constituents want and need. I'm not here to dispute that point in this moment. But I will say that surely if that is the case, then there should be no objection to gathering better data on the health impact of these policies on the health and safety of everyday Americans. So I truly believe this is a common sense amendment that would help protect and inform the American people, especially the most vulnerable among us. And I urge my colleagues to support the amendment, and I yield.
In response, AOC attempted to craft a sweeping amendment packed with nearly every climate-related term imaginable. Curiously, it also claimed that communities of color, indigenous groups, and low-income families bear an unfair share of the costs tied to fossil fuel extraction. Matt Rosenale didn't hold back. He pushed back firmly, stopping the proposal from moving forward without challenge. His response centered on what he viewed as political posturing instead of genuine policymaking. The exchange also exposed the stark inconsistencies in how Congress is addressing environmental concerns.
How can you ignore that emissions have actually gone up during this administration? How can you ignore the millions of people around the earth that have had clean water, indoor plumbing, lights, electricity provided to them, making their lives better, literally extending their lifespan, lifting them out of poverty by having access to electricity that's been provided by coal, oil, gas, or other fossil fuels? It simply can't be ignored. Their lives are better, their lives are longer as a direct result of that. So to sit there and say that we should be trying to eliminate these fuels is absolutely absurd, ridiculous.
And he's not wrong. Biden's energy strategy has become a textbook example of how public policy can go off course. On his very first day in office, he signed a series of executive orders halting oil and gas production, both on land and at sea, a sweeping strike against fossil fuel development. That single decision triggered a sharp rise in energy costs for everyday Americans. Families felt the strain on their budgets, sparking heated debates about the nation's energy independence. In the end, the policy raised serious concerns about finding the right balance between protecting the environment and sustaining the economy.
The desire by this administration to shut down our domestic energy production is causing prices to escalate, forcing Montanans to make difficult decisions about heating their homes or simply putting food on their table.
But the setbacks didn't end there. Despite bold promises, Biden ultimately fell short of his pledge to revolutionize the renewable energy sector. In February 2022, the administration launched the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program, a $5 billion initiative aimed at building 500,000 public EV charging stations by 2030. On paper, it sounded ambitious and full of promise. Yet by June of this year, only 56 stations were actually up and running across the entire country. This disappointing outcome redefined what it means to overpromise and underdeliver. It also fueled growing doubts about whether the administration could truly meet its own clean energy transition goals.
Unfortunately, my colleagues across the aisle have been extremely selective about when they would like to use science-based information. How about if we start using science-based information about managing the population of grizzly bears in the state of Montana, which populations are at 300% and 400% of the target populations, so that we can delist these animals.
You'd think that politicians who proudly call themselves climate advocates would make forest protection a top priority. After all, healthy forests are one of the best natural defenses against climate change. Yet, surprisingly, many have done just the opposite. Take California, for instance. Decades of research have proven that proper forest management can drastically reduce the intensity and spread of wildfires. Instead, layers of red tape and endless bureaucracy have slowed progress year after year. Simple preventive actions could have spared the state from many of the catastrophic wildfire seasons it has endured.
How about if we allow forest management practices that would prevent millions of acres from burning each year, absolutely ruining air, land, and water quality across the state, across the nation, and start using some best management practices on how to take care of those forests, which would not only help keep our air, land, and water clean, but it would also help the economy, provide jobs, and be better for everyone who's connected with it. For all of those reasons, I will be opposing this amendment. Thank you very much.
In fact, a 2022 report from the U.S. Forest Service warned that massive wildfires threaten more than 73 million acres of national forests, putting both ecosystems and human lives at serious risk. The agency also admitted that complex laws and administrative barriers have prevented it from effectively restoring forest health or taking timely action. During that same hearing, Tom Tiffany's pointed question revealed just how unprepared AOC was to defend her proposal. His challenge underscored the difference between political showmanship and genuine understanding of the issue. The moment served as a clear reminder that real-world solutions matter far more than dramatic displays.
When you say impact, you mean both sides, positives and negatives?
Yes, I'm not sure if there's confusion about the substance of the amendment. The amendment is specifically about an assessment on the health and safety impact. If there are practices that are revealed to have positive health impacts on the communities, on impacted and frontline communities, I do not dispute the inclusion of any positive health impacts. I believe that we should have information on things that may improve people's health, but of course, there is a large degree of concerning information about the potential health impacts, breathing impacts, cancer exposure.
It was, quite frankly, an extensive list of hollow phrases, a string of climate buzzwords stitched together without much real substance. AOC's amendment, which she claimed would strengthen environmental accountability, ended up doing little more than inserting identity politics into a report originally designed to evaluate Biden's climate strategy. Instead of addressing issues like forest management failures or the administration's unfulfilled promises on renewable energy and electric vehicle infrastructure, it shifted the focus toward political symbolism. This move wasn't isolated, it echoed a familiar pattern seen in broader progressive circles, lots of talk but very little tangible progress. Just as Biden's $5 billion electric vehicle program managed to produce only a handful of charging stations This amendment showed how flashy language can mask an absence of practical outcomes. The irony is that while politicians call for urgent climate action, agencies such as the U.S. Forest Service continue to warn about the millions of forest acres at risk, hindered by red tape that prevents effective management. Matt Rosanelli's swift rebuttal and Tom Tiffany's pointed questions both laid bare what many Americans are beginning to notice. Political theater often replaces real policy making. Their pushback revealed that the amendment wasn't about solving environmental problems, it was about optics and ideology. In the end, the committee's final report wasn't meaningfully improved, proving that the entire effort was a missed opportunity to unite policy and practicality. What do you think about this ongoing tug-of-war between rhetoric and results? Let us know your perspective in the comments below. And as always, keep questioning, stay informed, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more thoughtful discussions.